By the way, this was one of my, stream started. I can't show it.
Yeah, attendees are on, so hang on 1 second, please. And we're live.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first City Council meeting of 2021.
Okay, good evening and welcome to a regular meeting of the Council of the City of Long Beach on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021 at 7 p.m. We'll have a roll call. Councilmember Delury.
Present.
Councilmember Mandel.
Present.
Councilmember Treston.
Present.
Okay, good evening. Vice President McGinnis.
Present.
President Bendo.
Present.
Let the record indicate the presence of City Manager Donna Gaydon and Deputy Corporation Counsel Richard Barrios. We'll now have a salute to the flag.
I believe Councilman Delury has a flag hiding behind him, so why don't you lead us?
Okay, President Bendo.
Okay.
Hands on your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I guess we'll start with the city manager's report.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much. The first person that is speaking under the city manager's report will be Attorney John Gross.
All right, you're muted, John. There you go, you're unmuted now.
The city manager asked me to give a brief report on the status of discussions between the city, which I've been representing the city in, and the Martin Luther King Inc., the organization that has had possession of the Martin Luther King Center for some time. Some weeks ago, we assisted in the preparation of a report that was, I believe, published widely in the community, outlining the status of the negotiations and certainly recognizing the efforts that the Martin Luther King Center, Inc. Has made over the years and its contributions to the community in terms of programming and services to the community. The reason for the negotiations focuses primarily on the fact that since the mid-90s, there has been no lease agreement between the city council or the city and the organization for possession of the Martin Luther King Center. The initial lease, which had been extended, expired in the mid-90s. The city council, being the fiduciary responsible for maintenance of the building and its operations, has a responsibility. We certainly advised that there be an appropriate lease arrangement between it and the Martin Luther King Center, Inc. We have engaged in ongoing negotiations with the center organization. We met on 2 prior occasions and have presented to the Martin Luther King Center, Inc. A lengthy term sheet outlining the provisions of a lease that we are proposing. We are actually meeting tomorrow morning to continue that discussion. The aim of these discussions is very simple. One is to establish a lease that will provide for utilization of a portion of the premises by the Martin Luther King Center, Inc., and also permit them to participate in the efforts of the city to expand services to the community and actually be permitted to utilize not only the Martin Luther King Center, Inc. upon application, but also to 2 other sites within the city for community services. The second aim is, as certainly the city council is aware, you've appointed a director of community relations who is in charge of formulation of programs throughout the city, and certainly in city-owned facilities. So the second aim is to have the Martin Luther King Center, Inc. Participate in the efforts of the city in scoping out appropriate services that it will establish, and to participate to the extent of being endorsed by the city when it makes application for particular programs. So those are the only two reasons. I will certainly comment that there's been, and I've been informed and seen some social media commentary that it's the intent of the city council to obtain control of the facility to make it into condominiums. That's certainly legally a very impossible task. It's public property. And secondly, that is absolutely not the city's intent. The intent is to strike an appropriate lease agreement with the center, have them continue to participate, continue to provide programs, and to expand their involvement in city-sponsored activities. That essentially, as I mentioned earlier, tomorrow morning we have yet another negotiating session, and we are hopeful that we can bring this matter to closure by the negotiations of an appropriate lease instrument. So that's my report, Mr. Bendo.
Okay, thank you very much, John. Any of the council members have any questions? Okay.
Sorry. Mr. Gross, this is Elizabeth Trustin.
Yes.
I just want to just emphasize again that this is all about a lease.
Well, as a public agency, and certainly...
I'm just going to interrupt 1 second with just a scenario. If something should happen to a resident or a visitor when they're in a city building and they get hurt, who are they going to come after? They're going to come after the city, yes?
Certainly the city would be,
and
I would presume that, competent counsel would bring suit against the city and probably the organization as well. The critical piece, however, is to clarify in the lease agreement that appropriate insurance is obtained by any organization that uses a portion of the facility. Remember, the intent would be to permit utilization of the building by organizations other than Martin Luther King to provide Martin Luther King Inc., to provide community services. I don't mean that in the sense of displacing them, but
no.
As I indicated, they would also be permitted to utilize other facilities. And it's appropriate and important for protection of the city's interests, as well as the interests of Martin Luther King Inc., that apportionment of the responsibility to provide insurance for injuries and property damage that might occur from utilization of the premises by the citizenry be set forth in the lease agreement. That is not an unusual provision in fact, it's pretty standard in commercial leases.
I just want to emphasize that this is standard practice and we're not, that's it.
Well, it's even beyond standard practice in the sense that as public officials, you owe the city a duty of a fiduciary duty to handle city property in an appropriate manner. And the absence of a lease since the mid-90s, over 20 years, it does not exactly meet the definition of an appropriate arrangement with the users of that facility. This is simply to bring this into a conformance with appropriate law.
And Mr. Gross, this is Councilwoman McGinnis. I just wanted to thank City Manager Gaydon, Rich Barrios, and Mr. Gross for making sure that I do my job as a fiduciary for the city. So again, this is really important that we have the right paperwork in order and that I do my job for all the residents. So thank you.
Mr. Gross, if you would, could you just give an update on the status of the COVID site safety reopening plan for the center and where that is in the mix in terms of negotiations and the lease negotiations as well?
Yes, any user of the premises, and we're not talking about exclusive utilization, but any by a particular organization would have to, for any activity that they would be involved in or sponsor, would have to meet appropriate CDC and New York State Department of Health COVID-19 precautions.
Okay, I just want to, Monique, can you unmute Monique Day? It's been said that MLK Inc. has provided the city with the necessary COVID plans. Now, it is my understanding that the COVID plan that was given to us allows them to be in the center administratively. But it's the programs, like as we do in the city, for every program we have to have a separate site safety plan for that particular program. John and Monique, have we received anything outside of the administrative program COVID?
I did receive something last week that we are thoroughly going through. There were 2 touch points that I had communicated with MLK administrative and board members that their previous safety plan talked about arrival for youth all at the same time. And there's been numerous guidances out there that recommends having a staggered arrival so that you can control arrival of the youth and contract tracing if anyone's exposed, and for them not to come in at the same time. I recommended different egresses that they can come through, knowing the building and the facilities, that there are various ways that the children can come in so that they're not all entering in the front. Another recommendation was not to have about 30 programs at the same time. Due to COVID and what's going on in the pandemic, there is no one that's actually operating in full capacity. So I advise to truncate the list of services and maybe identify priority of needs and offer services that they think are priority to not offer 39 programs, and they agreed. And the next one is to think about the type of programs to reduce any type of contact sports with the guidance, try to sway away from using contact sports, which transfer bodily fluids. So there was some like sports that were being done. So we talked about eliminating some of those. In the new revised plan, it was broken down, and we are just currently reviewing it. I did receive it last week and confirmed it was during the holiday time, and we're going to thoroughly go through it. And the goal was, after this meeting tomorrow, to continue to meet with the MLK board and executive team to like thoroughly just review it, so that those children, families being served in the building are not exposed or at risk of being exposed to COVID.
So Monique, this is Karen. It sounds that like we're on the same page in the fact that the organization has given you the requirements that they believe satisfies everything that they're supposed to do. However, the city has a responsibility to review the document to make sure that it is in compliance. And that's the stage with we are at. Is that correct?
That is correct, Karen.
Thank you.
Were there any additional questions for Mr. Gross?
Can I add, Ms. Gaydon, also during the meeting, it was just said that remote services can be provided at the time, just until the safety plan has been approved and thoroughly reviewed, that, administratively, they can operate out of the building, and that we could think about, or they could, creating some type of remote learning services until then.
Okay, are you aware of any remote services that they have suggested at this time?
I haven't had a chance to thoroughly look through the safety plan. It wasn't identified in the body of the email, so I won't comment on that, but I don't think there is, and I haven't seen any communications about starting it.
Okay, I just want to say thank you, Monique. You have reached out to them several times. You and their executive director and a few of their board members have met. And so I just want the council to know that we're trying to move ahead as a collaborative, not one against the other, but as a collaborative. I look forward to hearing what happens tomorrow on the call. If there's no more questions for John Gross, I thank you very much. And now Monique Powell is going to talk about all the programs that the city is doing.
Great. So it's a great segue. I am excited that we are moving forward with creating a logic framework model using a theory of change to provide programs and services that is accessible to all communities in the city of Long Beach. So we are shifting towards some type of data-driven decision-making when providing the resources to the residents and to all communities as a whole. And that is using our primary data of who's who in the city of Long Beach, in addition to census data and other data points, but just being able to say that we use data to identify their needs and interests so that programs and services citywide are aligned according to that. So a lot of reorganizing. We have reopened the Youth and Family Services Department. With that being said, we've created a hub, a location where anybody from the community, in the communities of Long Beach can go to, call because of COVID, go online and seek what resources are available to them. And it's based on this theory of change or framework, a logic framework model. So we have hired a youth and families coordinator. This is somebody that will be by the phone. We will have office hours, virtual hours as well, where intakes will happen. We hired a youth from the Long Beach North Park community as a street team to help us to advertise it. But now we have a set staff there that will provide some type of community mapping, resource mapping for anybody that comes through the door that is in need, any youth or family member. So that I'm very excited to say that the office is on the second floor of the Magnolia Community Center. It is currently being remodeled, and we will move forward with that. So you'll hear more definitely about that. So in addition to that, under this Youth and Families Department, one area is senior services. So we have identified what are senior services as a whole in the city of Long Beach. We have assigned a staff member who was previously lined under the Magnolia School, who is now going to be the senior program specialist. So she's assigned to assist us with all the senior programming. She is like the point of contact. When it comes to the seniors, she will answer the seniors hotline, help me coordinate any programs, any events, and be there. Speaking of programs, we have our first program that is launching. It's called a Grab and Go Long Beach Mask Up Golden Edition. I thought everyone would like that. Golden meaning senior edition. And what that means is that we are going to provide PPE equipment to all the seniors, that is our goal, in the city of Long Beach. We're going to do that as a grab and go in various locations. We're going to do it as deliveries, where our city manager and police commissioner will do some surprise deliveries, and even drop off to some of the residents of seniors in certain areas if they're not able to take advantage of the grab and go and the delivery. We are collaborating with some community organizations. We are seeking additional help. We spoke to Helen from the Long Beach Latino Civic Association, New Life Christ Center, Pastor Moses. We spoke to Ms. Jackie Odom, and I am calling and reaching out to other community organizations as well. We spoke to the Sisterhood over there at the Temple, and I seek the help and advisement of our Senior Advisory Board in doing so. Now, in handing out these items, we are seeking some good data. We are asking seniors to fill out a needs assessment interest survey. So we are getting their demographics of where they are, where they live, updating our files, and also asking them, what are your needs? And simple needs are either transportation, seeing family and friends, personal care. So all this is actually on our website live, so you can see a copy of the assessment. And then we're asking, what are they interested in? Recreation, technology, and are they interested in virtual Zoom? Are they interested in coming in, or any of their other needs? So we're excited to kick this off because it's like a double dip of handing out PPE, COVID, our response to COVID in the community, and also moving forward with this framework model. Any questions about the grab and go? The flyer has been translated in English and in Spanish, and it's actually on our website, on social media, and that's that. So another program that we're doing with the seniors is the History of Long Beach and MLK. So with that, we are handing out to seniors postcards where they can give us a description of, where they can send a message to youth depicting their memories of Long Beach and MLK. So special seniors get to inform the youth and the community about what their memories were, because some of them have been around during that time. That's what makes them so golden. And history is very important in the city of Long Beach. And that is our senior program so far. Any questions about that?
Hi, Monique. This is Liz. I just want to pivot back on the needs assessment service portion. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen the form, but is there a box or a line that they can add their name to the City of Long Beach Fire Department's? They have a list for persons that with disabilities or with certain medical circumstances that should a need arise when the FD comes upon their apartment or their home.
I think Liz froze.
I think Liz froze, but to answer that, the box is not on there, but now that we have a program manager, we will make sure that we get that vital information. I'll double back with the fire department just to get the content of that. And we will definitely reach out now that we have a database and get that collection, that information moving forward.
Thank you.
Yep.
Karen?
Karen?
Sure. Monique, I just want to thank you for your enthusiasm and your passion. You've got me very excited to see the programs that are going to be rolled out. But I also want to give you credit for something that I feel that the city, everyone could always improve on. And that the fact is that you're taking a disciplined, documented approach for programs that is data-driven, so that we can learn what works and that we can learn what doesn't work and what can be improved on. And so that we can share this information amongst the organizations within the community to make sure that the resources are getting to the right people at the right time. So I'm very excited to see the work coming out of your department in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen, for understanding my vision without me having to say it with only the limited time that I have, but that was exactly my point. I will move on to the early childhood part of Family and Youth Services. I spent some time reorganizing our sandbox and our AM and PM programs with the external forces that we have that we can't control as far as COVID, and working with the school districts and families. So the first thing we're concentrating on is creating a robust program for those who are still enrolled and for the families that stayed with us during these tough times. So we are changing our schedule for the AM PM programs with adding breakfast and snack, adding those youth development activities. We're adding yoga into it. We're adding STEM programming. We're adding technology Thursday, fun Friday, and arts and craft on Wednesday. So these are for the kids that are at our co-located school with Lido Beach that we have, and also at our West End. But we started to look into our what we would call competitors, because everybody needs childcare, and in this tough time is how do you retain the enrollment? Another decision was to take our sandbox program and meet the needs of the parents by offering Monday through Friday instead of Monday. I think it was Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. So instead of offering 3 days, we are also giving parents 5 days options to have our childcare. And the premise on that is that the building was available, staff was there. So we need to utilize every corner so that we can maximize revenue coming in and providing what's actually needed for the community. We're able to stay under market rate because we now align that program with our public service under community development and the department. So later on, and not right now, because I can't promise right now, we will start to see some of the costs being absorbed as our public services providing this youth care and offering workshops to families. So I am in the talks of bringing WIC back, Nurturing Moms program, breastfeeding, lactating classes, and any program that helps families from birth to 5 in that building. So we're looking into upgrading the building to make sure it's safe. I spoke to Tommy C. and his staff, and thank you for that. But we are now rebranding our youth programs. We're going contactless with our software so that anybody can log in, as far as families, to see an update on their child remotely. And if we have to move to remote learning services, we already have the platform. So you will definitely see that. The next one is our youth programs, which is our older school-age child programs that will be operating currently out of the Magnolia Community Center on the 2nd floor. I won't take too much of the time. You will see an update on that. The next is the greatest thing, and I'm enthused, and sorry for my teacher rapid fire voice, but I know we don't have a lot of time, is that we now have added an added feature when we talk about accessible to all. So we have added a transportation stop. And thanks to the team in transportation, Brendan, where there is a bus stop now that is in front of, that is on Riverside Boulevard, adjacent to the MLK building. We use that transportation stop numerous times for the summer camp, where we're providing access from Riverside to Magnolia Boulevard. So this stop happens at 7:30 in the morning, and we'll learn why 7:30 in the morning later on. But most importantly, at 3:30 p.m., where our youth can travel from Riverside Boulevard at 3:30 in a city-sponsored bus for free to Magnolia Boulevard to attend any of our youth programs, COVID style right now. The return trip is at 6 o'clock. They can meet in front of the Magnolia building and return back to Riverside by 6:30. So we are launching that program and we are excited. Any comments about that?
Okay. Monique, you did mention that we were going to be at the Long Beach housing for the grab and go, correct?
Yes, there are various locations. We're talking to Mike Cruz and his team, the senior housing. Those are called our drop off locations where we're dropping off. Right now we're promoting what we can control, which is our grab and go in our community centers. And then we'll be outreaching to those in the community so they could be our drop off sites. And then in addition to the delivery that we'll be having.
All right, thank you. Any additional questions? Well, since we're on childcare, we have Joe Lupo, who's going to talk about JCC, who's going to be at the Magnolia Center.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Joe.
All right. First off, Monique, thank you. Following Monique is tough, man. She has that really contagious energy. It's hard to keep up with her. But with respect to the JCC, they advise us that they're almost done with all the preparations at Magnolia, and they anticipate the center being open in a couple of weeks. Currently, they're just waiting for the Office of Children and Family Services to finalize and complete the licensing process. At this point, they already have a few children enrolled, but that's not really their focus currently. They're, obviously, they're still setting up and, they need their license, so they want to finalize everything, and then they're going to focus more on enrollment. Actually, they're planning a full media blast within the next couple of weeks to promote the program and to advise the community of all the services they offer. And with respect to that media blast, they will be sharing the information with the city so then we can review it and then also post it on our website. That's really it with respect to everyone who I spoke with at the JCC. They tell us that they're really excited to work with the city in this project. They're really looking forward to opening, and it seems like a really great thing.
So, Joe, just to be clear, because you didn't specifically say this, but this is for a daycare center, correct?
Mr. Bender, I apologize. You know what? I'm so ingrained in this that I just assume that everybody has as much exposure to it as I do. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
So at the Magnolia Center, the JCC, the Friedberg Jewish Community Center, is going to be running a daycare, for children. I believe it's 10 or 11 months old. So about 6, we have a fully executed contract with them. They're, they do a lot of great stuff.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Any questions? So this is an example of where we have leased the building to the JCC, and we're in the building. It's a city-owned building, and we're collaborating and bringing necessary programs to benefit the community as a whole. On that takes care of all the child care. I believe Dave Frazier wants to talk about a couple of things that we have gotten foils on, or a bunch of questions.
I just have basically one item that we've added to the website. We've gotten a lot of questions about the transcripts for the meetings. We produce right now, for each meeting, we produce minutes and proceedings and the videos. We have a lot of items that we do produce for each meeting. One of the things people have been asking for is the transcripts from the meetings, and up to this point, it's been we've been telling people to get it off of the YouTube platform, and it's not been very a very easy thing to do. So what we've done is we've added a let me see if I could share this on here. Give me 1 second, folks. Okay, what we've done is we've added onto the city council page, we've added a section called council meeting YouTube transcripts. And where we've done, we've downloaded the transcripts from each of the meetings into a separate file. And also there's a convenient link back to our YouTube channel if you want to refer back to the video as well, to the corresponding meeting. All these are just, it's a verbatim computer generated transcript of the meeting, so that way if you're unsure of something that was said or some topic that was on there, it's a reference tool that you can use to view information about the meeting. That's it.
Thank you. Are there any questions? The last speaker I have is Mr. John McNally to give COVID updates.
Always happy to leave you all on a high note. I think first, before I get into COVID, Councilman Delory had reached out earlier and just wanted a quick update on the status of where we're at with parking meters for the central business district. So I think we will have a little bit more of a detailed update at the next meeting, because we have an internal staff meeting with a number of different departments next Tuesday. And what we're doing there is really just going over with a fine-tooth comb, really vetting the numbers and the assumptions that our parking consultant has provided us with to make sure that this is viable and that we're grounded in reality before we move forward with something as significant as this. So we'll have a little bit more of an update on that, but it is moving. We've kept it going along. We've had a number of conversations with the consultant and internally on a staff level. So we are keeping this kicking along and moving along. In terms of COVID, glad we had really positive stuff with Monique and Mr. Lupo, because it's about to get semi-less positive. So for the week ending January 3rd, so this past Sunday and the preceding 7 days, we had 235 confirmed cases in Long Beach, which brings us to exactly 2,100 confirmed cases in the city since the beginning of the pandemic. The 235 cases over the preceding 7 days equals out to 33.57 cases per day, and is also equivalent to 1 case per 1,000 people per day. That's the data that we have on the granular level. Data came out yesterday on the region-wide, so Long Island, Nassau, and Suffolk County. The positivity rate for all the tests in Nassau and Suffolk combined was 9.6%. And the other real key metric that the governor is using in determining what regulations he might put on a specific area is the percent of available ICU beds over a 7-day rolling period. And on Long Island, we're still at 22%, which is really where we've been for the past couple of weeks. So that's the good news. We've not hit a critical mass, but we're also now just 2.5 weeks out from Christmas and just a few days out from New Year's. So I think what most of the experts are looking at of, behavior drives this. Did everybody avoid gatherings during the holiday season? And the proof will be in the pudding over the next couple of days. You figure 10 to 14 days out from New Year's, you will see positive cases. And then another 2 to 4 weeks after that, is when hospitalization typically occurs. So, you know, all the numbers I just went through are pretty much unprecedented since the spring. We haven't done numbers even remotely near this, so they're obviously a level of concern. But in order to really keep our schools operating, make sure that we're not inundating our hospitals, which is going to be one of the key drivers of if businesses can stay open and we can have some level of sense of normalcy or what has become normal. So again, we would urge everybody to really avoid gatherings, wear your masks, maintain social distance, wash your hands frequently, and really just don't go anywhere unless you need to. The vaccine's out there. We've had some of our EMTs already receive it. It's been the first in our city, and developing plans for the city workforce. We know we have a couple of physicians in town that are looking to become distribution centers for it. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We just need to have a little bit more patience, you know, and stick to it a little bit longer. And along those lines, we had a meeting with one of the organizers of the Polar Bear Plunge last week. And it was universally agreed amongst all that were present that there's no way to really do a plunge like that where you have tens of thousands of people all shoulder to shoulder on the beach. So what they're coming out with is, you know, splash at home or some sort of reiteration of it, but we can't have large scale gatherings of people jumping into the ocean all on one day at one time. So we're ordering, you know, asking people to get creative, continue to support Make-A-Wish Foundation. They've got their fundraising page up and running already. Individuals can still do theirs, but whether you want to do an ice bucket challenge, whether you want to take a cold shower or a cold bath with ice cubes, whether you want to run around in a sprinkler on a 20-degree January day, up to you. There's different ways to look at it and do this. And again, we'll look forward to, you know, miss out on this one time this year. We've missed out on a lot of one things this year, but we'll get back to normal as this vaccine gets in people's arms and we start to come out of this pandemic. So that's my report. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Were you going to say something, Mike?
I just want to thank John McNally for remembering that. And I just don't know. Well, you had mentioned the parking. That's it. I just want to thank you for remembering that, John.
Although you may not think it, Mike, it's on our radar. It's on our to-do list, and we're following up on it on a regular basis. We just don't report on it until we have something actually to report on, until we work things out. I just have two items. Monique spoke about moving someone from Magnolia to Youth and Family Services. And so I want everybody to know that's item number 11 on the agenda, where we're moving salaries of $21,336.84 from the Magnolia down to, from Magnolia to Youth and Family Services. So that's what item number 11 is. I also want to let everybody know that I am hopefully wrapping up the remaining of the commissions and boards interviews. So within the next couple of weeks, we should be fully on board with everything. There are a couple boards that you all have to vote on, and they will be ready for you all to take a look next week and then be on the agenda at the next meeting. The last thing I have is we've updated the RFP process. Typically what happens is that RFP has a deadline. The RFP comes into the city at that particular deadline time. The staff itself opens up the RFPs and then make a listing. I have been preaching transparency. And so from this point on, starting this week, every RFP that is opened up in the city will be broadcast on YouTube, and anybody that wants to watch will be able to see at that time when we collect and we have all of the bids in or all of the proposals in, it will be announced that these are the companies that we have received proposals from, so that no one ever has to question whether we let somebody in later. It's all about being transparent. And on that, if you have no questions, that ends the city manager's report for this meeting.
All right. Thank you very much. An awful lot of stuff going on. So good to see things moving ahead. So with that, Dave, I guess we could move on to our to agenda and I guess the public hearing.
First item is a public hearing for an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Long Beach regarding the Environmental Advisory Board.
All right. Donna, is someone speaking on this? I think this one's pretty straightforward with just expanding the number of people on the Environmental Advisory Board.
Yes, this happened to be one of the boards that we had a lot of people. We have more people than the number that are very interested in being on the advisory board. And after talking to several people, we're going to have a joint meeting with the environmental planning and zoning all together to make sure that all of the committees and boards are on the same page. So we needed to extend the number, increase the number, of people on the environmental board.
Okay. So we're going from 7 to 9, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions from the council members?
I just have a general comment that I want to thank all those people that expressed interest, submitted information. I looked at some of their background, and I'm very impressed with the talent and the abilities that this environmental advisory board, of which I have to admit I don't know much about, and the environment is what I hear and what people try to tell me what I should be doing. But I'm looking forward to them becoming very active in an advisory role to both the city manager and the city council. And I just want, if there is any members on Zoom tonight, I just want to thank them. That's it.
Yeah, clearly we have some smart people in this city that we can tap into. And the only person you need to be listening to is your wife. So, all right. Any other questions from the council members? All right, Dave, let's open it up for the public.
No hands at this time.
Okay. Well, with no hands then, I guess we'll close the hearing and move on to the agenda.
We're going to move on to the agenda. Item 1 is approval of minutes for prior meetings, October 20th, 2020 and November 4th, 2020. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion, Dave.
Second?
I second.
Voting, Councilmember Delury.
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel.
Yes.
Councilmember Treston.
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis.
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Okay. Item 2 is an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Long Beach regarding Environmental Advisory Board. A hearing has been held on this item already. Item 3 is a resolution authorizing adoption of the new retention and disposition schedule for the New York local government records.
All right. I don't know, is that you, Dave, or Donna? I guess we're just making ourselves consistent with the state.
Okay. Yes. So what happened this year is the New York State Archives, which is the organization that controls the retention schedule, did a complete overhaul of the retention schedules. Previous to this, there were several different schedules. There was one for municipal, one for county, there was all sorts of different schedules. They consolidated them all into one schedule and made a few updates. As a result, we just have to adopt this resolution showing that we're going to follow this schedule as opposed to the old schedule, which was the MU1. This is now the called the LGS one, very similar to the old schedule, but with a few updates and a lot more stuff that for counties and for other things that weren't in our schedule before.
Okay. Any questions from the council members? All right. Seeing none, we got any from the public?
No hands at this time.
Okay, then let's move on to item 4.
Item 4 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to appoint a police commissioner. And
You want me to speak on that?
I think it's pretty straightforward. It's just that the resolution outlines it pretty well, that the charter provides that the city manager is the police commissioner, but the city manager can say, no, we need a separate police commissioner, but they need the city council's approval to do that. So we're approving that. And so the appointment becomes, I guess, official, or allows you to make the appointment official.
Okay, thank you. I have Ron Walsh, but I'll have him speak after you vote on it.
Okay.
So hold on, Ron.
All right. So any questions from the council members? All right. Seeing none. Any from the public?
Roy Lester. Hang on one
Okay.
second. Go ahead, Roy.
You thought I wasn't there, John, huh?
Oh, no, I had no doubt.
Okay. When was the police commission search committee formed? I don't remember that. It says it was formed 6 months ago.
You know what, Roy? This is Donna. It was a while back. I'll have to look because it took us a while. I'll have to look at the exact dates. I can
All right,
get
'cause I went through entire last year's, agendas. I never saw it.
It wasn't
And-
on the agenda, Roy. We put together when we went out to look, we got names for the committee. And I'm not sure, I have to look at when we started the interview process, but it was a long interview process.
Yeah, no, I know that, but
I
when
believe
you
it was
said
in August.
The first interviews were in early August.
Yes.
okay, because you said that it was community representatives, but
Yes, it was, Roy.
I don't ever remember you asking for community representatives.
We received our community representatives, Roy, but yes, there were community representatives, there were law representatives, there was representatives across the board.
So, I mean, was that something that people volunteered for, or was it something you just chose?
It was chosen from a list of names that we were given from organizations that we reached out to go across the board. So we know that some people probably would be upset that they weren't asked, but there was a very good search committee. And
there's no question that there was a
Okay.
good search committee. I'm just questioning that, people who might have wanted to be involved never even knew about it from what I see. That's, it just is a kind of odd way of getting the community involved in a search committee. And it was the search committee that did the recommendation, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And is there a listing of that committee?
Yes, there is a listing of the committee. Once it's voted on, we'll put out the listing of the committee.
Oh, okay, which will be tonight. And, I wish Ron a lot of luck. I think he's very qualified. I'm just, this is in no way a reflection on him. It is just the way it's being done that I question. The other thing, too, is you say that the Section 20 of the Charter of the City of Long Beach provides that the city manager of the city be the mayor of the city. When this new group came in, one of the first things they were going to do was change the charter so that it took out references of the mayor. We haven't had a mayor for how many years now? 40, 50 years?
Okay.
And yet we still have it.
Okay, so Roy, I'll answer that question. I've
Yeah.
only been here really working since the beginning of March. The idea was that we would start working on the charter, and then we had COVID, we had beach season, we had sharks, we had hurricanes. We had a lot of things going on in the last few months that has prevented us from working on the charter. However, just last week, we started working on the charter as a whole because there are a lot of things in the charter that needs to be fixed. So don't worry. It's now being addressed, and it will take us a few months to get through the entire charter, but we are starting to work on it.
I know it was done before you came. It was gone
okay.
through completely.
Well, we are looking at anything that was done prior to me getting here, and just to make sure that we're getting everything in line with the charter and with the code.
All right. Well, as long as those sharks don't come back, maybe we can get it done. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Roy.
All right. Anyone else, Dave?
That's all we have right now.
Okay, let's move on to item 5.
Item 5 is a resolution confirming the reappointment of a Civil Service Commission member and the appointment of 2 new members to the Civil Service Commission for the City of Long Beach.
That is me. I did interviews for the Civil Service Commission. We had 2, I believe, everybody had expired and they had rolled over until we finished the applications and the interviews. And so what I'm bringing before you is the one person to remain, and then bringing on 2 new people. And that would be Miss Solomon, Patricia O'Donnell, and Mark Moses would make up the civil service.
Okay, state law for a civil service commission requires that no more than 2 members can be from the same political party. We have verified that, correct?
Yes, you have 1 Republican, 2 Democrats.
Okay, good.
And the reason there's not 2 Republicans, I don't want anybody to think that I went ahead and just put 2 Democrats because I'm very anti-political. We only had 1 Republican apply
Okay.
that said they were Republican.
Okay, any questions from the council members?
John, I just have one question. And who between themselves would become the, I guess, is there a chairman? They vote between themselves?
Yes,
Thank you, Donna.
you're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? All right, Dave, any questions from the public?
No hands raised.
Okay, let's move on to item 6.
Item 6 is a resolution authorizing budget amendment to the capital fund budget.
All right, I think I'm going to assume, I don't know if John's on, but we talked
No,
about this
Joe-
quite a bit at the last meeting. This is,
Is on, and we just want to make sure that everybody understands why the difference. We have talked about it several times, but
Right.
Mr. Fabrizio, sorry about that, Joe, will just give you another update on why it's an additional $13 million.
stage is yours, Joe.
Joe, go ahead. You're unmuted.
Okay, yeah, Joe, we're not hearing you, so I'm not sure which end it's coming from.
No, he's unable to talk here.
Okay. Joe, see if your phone is muted.
Can we request that he call back in?
Yes.
Okay, well, why he's doing that, so if I'm going from memory, but this was the increase in the North Shore bulkhead and stormwater protection project, that this was the increase because of additional work that the engineers determined and the and FEMA approved the additional.
Right.
So it's not costing the city any additional money, but we have to obviously approve the increased revenues and the increased appropriation.
Yeah,
Right. We want to make sure that the budget reflects the increase.
Right.
right. Yeah, it's just adjustment to the budget, John, but
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
All
If
right.
he comes on, we can go to the next. If he comes,
Okay. I think we covered. You're right. Any of the council members got any questions? All right. I guess I'll see if the
I'm
public has.
on the phone with Joe right now. If we want to move on to the next item.
All right, why don't we move on and then we can come back? All right, that's fine.
Okay, Joe, hold on a second. So I'll call item 7 is a resolution authorizing budget amendments to the general and sewer fund budgets for the 2020-2021 fiscal year.
and that would be Ina.
Hello.
Hi,
Good
Ina.
evening. How's everyone doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay. So, The first of the resolutions that have to do with the transfer, actually, it's a budget amendment. So we are moving, and you will see through the next couple of resolutions as well, for operational needs of the city. We have to move staff from one department to another. I believe it was always done in the past, often. Not sure if it was accompanied by the budget transfers or not. But this year, especially reacting to COVID and the needs of certain departments, where needs are increased, certain department needs are decreased, staff is being moved. So to make sure that we are accountable and using budget as a control mechanism for our spending, as a true control mechanism for our spending, we make sure that we ask our city council to approve budget transfers to fund this positions in the departments where they are more needed and where they will be working. So in connection with this item number 7, we are asking for $8,964 to be moved from the regular salary lines in the sewer department to the interfund transfer, and that's in the sewer fund, and in the general fund we will recognize that same amount as the interfund revenue and increase the regular salaries. That is the amount that will be needed to fund the salary of the automotive mechanic helper. That person worked as a part-time mechanic and will be transitioning to the full-time position, and that's about that.
Okay. Got any questions from the council members?
Ina, this is Mike Delory. Is it an allocation from this person's time that now is being some of it allocated to the sewer fund?
No, it's
person went from part-time to full-time.
The person went from part-time to full-time in the central garage, and there were excess funds from what I believe is a retirement in the sewer department in a salary line.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions from the council? All right, Dave, any from the public?
Yes, we have Roy Lester. But before we do that, Joe Fabrizio, are you on?
Yeah, I think I'm on now. Am I on?
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry
All
about that, everyone.
So stand by for 1 second. We'll finish this item. We'll
Yeah.
be back in a second.
Sure,
We'll
no
finish.
problem.
Okay, Roy, I'm going to unmute you. Hold on 1 second. Go ahead, Roy.
Okay. So, when you said staff being moved, this was not actual staff being moved. It was just money being taken from the sewer department and moved over to the garage, correct?
So I was actually referencing, we have 4 different resolutions, I think 4 that pertain to the movement of budgets from the salary lines to between the departments, and it's it's either movement of staff from part-time to full-time positions or movement between the departments, yes, or between funds.
So in this particular case, I'm just talking about resolution number 7.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a movement of staff. It was just a promotion, so to speak, from part-time to full-time. And you took the money from the sewer.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So my question is, what is part-time? I mean, does it go up to 39 hours a week, or in this particular case? Because I look at it, if someone was doing, 15 hours a week, 15 is usually part-time, and now they're full-time, and the difference is only $9,000. That seems very low pay. Can you just straighten that out for me?
Sure. So that person was actually making in mid-20s historically for like an average for the last couple of years. His hourly wage was $18 an hour, and his salary as an automotive mechanic helper, grade 9, step 1, will be $45,928. So the difference between 25 and 45 divided by 2, because we're only doing it for half of the year, it's about $9,000.
Okay, well, all right. That's what I didn't understand. It's only for half a year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is done only for the remainder of the fiscal 2021.
And then the following year, he'll be budgeted within the garage budget.
That is correct.
Okay, then it makes sense to me. All right, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Anyone else, Dave?
Nope, that's all.
Okay, why don't we cycle back to item 6?
Okay. Yeah, we have Joe on the line now.
All right.
I apologize for the hi. I apologize. Good evening, everyone. I apologize for the technical difficulty we had. As far currently, the 2019-2020 capital budget included $20,060,327 for the North Shore Critical Infrastructure Project. The project cost, however, actually came in at $33,560,395. So we actually requested that additional funding, the difference between the $33 million and the $20 million. We requested that FEMA provide that additional funding, which we got notification it was all approved, which is fantastic. So basically what this resolution is doing is just adding the $13,500,068 to the original $20,060,327 to come up with the actual final total that the project's going to be, which is $33,563,395.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Any questions come up from the council members? Seeing none. Dave, any from the public?
Nope, none from the public.
Okay, thank you, Joe. And let's move on to item 8.
Item number 8 is a resolution authorizing transfer of funds for the 2020-2021 fiscal year.
Okay, is this going to be Ina or you, Donna?
It's Ina.
Okay.
Oh, I'm still unmuted, right?
Yes.
No. Okay. So 8 part-time employees from the sanitation department were promoted to full-time positions. The full-time annual salary is $39,439. Half of that for the half of the year in 2021 is $19,719. And that adds up to $157,756, which we asked to be moved from the temporary salary line to the regular salary line in the same department, in the sanitation department.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the council?
Yes, I have a comment.
Okay.
This is Karen. I just wanted to extend my sincere congratulations to the sanitation department leadership and the 8 part-time employees that have recently become full-time employees and union members with health benefits. I'm beyond thrilled that the sanitation department leadership worked with City Manager Gaden and City Controller Ina Reznik to make this happen. So even though I had absolutely nothing to do with it, I am just so proud that we're able to transfer these 8 part-time employees to full-time employees without increasing the overall budget this year. And I'm wishing you all the very best. So thank you.
Yeah, and just I guess to give people a little background on this issue, a past practice that the city did, which quite frankly was a little disgraceful, was the city would employ part-time employees but would employ them for part-time for years. I mean, years and years. And they would work excessive hours with no benefits. And quite frankly, as we found out, a lot of them were making less than minimum wage. And quite frankly, that wasn't acceptable to us. And these are not people that sit in nice air-conditioned offices. These are some hardworking people that picking up our garbage in the wind and the rain and the snow and the heat and the cold. People that clean the bathrooms on the boardwalk and things like that. And quite frankly, the city almost created a permanent underclass with these people by making them work, like I said, some excessive hours for at times less than minimum wage, and that's just completely unacceptable. So we're taking measures to fix that, and this is part of that, where we're making some of these now employees, we're taking them off of part-time status and putting them on full-time status, so they get the fair treatment that they deserve. And as the budget allows, next fiscal year we're gonna do more of that. But we have to make sure our employees are treated fairly, because they're the ones who keep our city running. So I think that background's important to have, because there's this dark shadow that I think that's been over the some of the workforce, and never should have been, and it was allowed to go on for a long time, and we're gonna fix that. So, and that's what this is doing. It's starting to do. So sorry about that little diatribe, but I think people need to know that and understand that. So any other comments or questions from the council?
Good job, John. You said it straight. I'll give you some credit.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal any give you limelight, but
you did it. You said it right.
I just think people need to understand what was going on. Dave, any comments from the public?
No hands are raised.
Okay. Let's move on to item 9.
Item 9 is also a resolution authorizing transfer of funds for the 2020-2021 fiscal year.
Okay. Is that you again, Ina?
Actually, I think that Greg Scott, if he's on a call, he'll be better equipped to talk about
Yes,
it.
that is Greg Scott.
Okay.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Go ahead, Greg.
Okay. Happy New Year's, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Yes. What this transfer is we've been working and planning to phase out the city public receptacles, and this is part of that plan. We have 131 city public receptacles, and 40 of them are in the West End on Beach Street. We have 66 on Park Avenue, and we have 30 on the other 3 boulevards, Long Beach Road and Edwards Boulevard and National. And this is the first phase of that project to get the 40 cans replaced in the West End. And as you know, all of these cans were damaged by Sandy. The bottoms are rotted out and they're in poor condition. So this is what we have to do, and aesthetically it's gonna make our town look a lot better.
Great. Any questions from the council? Mike?
Greg, thank you very much. And I'm going to anticipate a question is, this was put out for bid, or was it under the bid amount?
No, it was put out for bid, and there was 3 bidders, and Warsaw Tile had the best price for us, so that's who we're going to go with.
Thank you, Greg.
You're welcome, Mike.
Okay, any other questions? All right, hearing none. Dave, any from the public?
No hands raised.
Okay, Let's move on to item 10.
Item 10 is also a resolution authorizing transfer funds for the 2020-2021 fiscal year.
That's Greg.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes?
Still can hear you.
Yeah. We have our sign shop. They were presently located down at Maple on Park at the old police auxiliary building. They are now located and housed in street maintenance, which is a much better facility with running water, which they didn't have down there, and bathrooms. So we transferred the staff here to the highway department and the funds, but we will still be working with the police department and all their needs.
Okay. Good. You got more, Greg, or you done?
No, I just want to thank all of the city council, Don, and everybody for their efforts with sanitation. That's a big win-win for everybody.
Yeah, it is. Appreciate it, Greg. All right. Any questions from the council on this? All right. Seeing none. Dave, any from the public?
We have two. First is Roy Lester.
Okay.
Go ahead, Roy. You're unmuted.
Okay, I just have a question. We just went through the whole thing with sanitation and how nice it is to get them off the part-time status, which I've been complaining about for years, into full-time. And am I correct that now we're putting another one on part-time status?
Are you talking about the resolution number 10, Roy?
Yes.
This is moving the sign shop staff from police to street maintenance.
No, to sanitation, it says. To
No,
sanitation budget.
it says street maintenance.
Street maintenance. It's just moving the staff. They're being charged to street maintenance instead of the police department.
It says in the text of the resolution sanitation. So I think
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, I
Street
see what he's
maintenance.
saying.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's
It
a
should be
typo there.
street maintenance. We need to correct that when you go.
Oh, okay. That's,
Yes.
I can understand.
Yes.
All right. All right. Well, you have to correct it before you vote on it, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have to make
All
an
right.
amendment.
Okay. All
Thanks.
right. Thank you.
Okay. Before we get the next speaker, Dave, should we just make that amendment motion
we
now?
can do that real quick. Hang on one second. I'm just pulling this up. So that's in the whereas clause, correct?
Whereas, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to change sanitation department to street maintenance department.
Do I have a
I'll
second?
second that motion, President Bendo.
Okay. Vote on the motion. Councilmember Delory,
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Lester, for pointing it out.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Treston,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
And we do have one other hand raised.
Okay.
So that's Joey Nahum. Hold on one second. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, council members and everybody. How are you?
Hey, Joey.
Hey, how are you? I just in relation to the sign staff transfer, I had requested that some signs had been updated once the state changed the smoking law, because entering beach property now, like, some of the rules are that smoking is enforced, and some of the signs had not been updated, and I was in contact with Mike Tagney, and it still hasn't been updated. So I was just wondering if this would affect that request that I had made over 2 years ago.
No, it wouldn't. This is Donna, the city manager. No, it wouldn't. If you would call my office tomorrow, so I can understand which questions you had or the signs you were referring to, we'll look out. I will look into it personally.
Okay, I'll call in the morning. Thanks.
All right, thank you so
everybody.
much.
Good night.
Okay, have a good night, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Good
Joey.
night.
All right. Anyone else, Dave?
That's all.
All right. Let's move on to item 12.
Okay. Well, item 11.
I'm sorry. I flipped two pages in my book.
They're all titled the same, so they're all kind of run together.
Yeah.
Item 11 is also a resolution authorizing transfer of funds for the 2020-2021 fiscal year.
All right. Ina again, or
This was
That's
This is the one we talked
Monique?
about. This is the one we talked about, and I mentioned
Right.
it earlier.
Yeah, Monique mentioned this earlier that we're moving someone from Magnolia to Youth and Family.
Yes.
So I don't know if we need to rehash that since we did it earlier. We got any questions from the council? All right. Any from the public, Dave?
Hands.
Okay. Now we can move to item 12.
And item 12 is a resolution authorizing publication of a notice of public hearing of an application to waive off-street parking requirements for premise 1052 West Beach Street, street floor, Long Beach. This item is for publication only. A hearing will be held January 19th at 7 p.m. Now we're going to circle back to the voting. Item 2 is an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Long Beach regarding Environmental Advisory Board. Would you just move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will. Or whomever.
Voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Trustin,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Item 3 is a resolution authorizing adoption of the new retention and disposition schedule for the New York local government records. Who would introduce and move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Trustin,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Item 4 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to appoint a police commissioner. Would you just move the adoption of this item?
I will. Oh, sorry, Karen.
Karen got it?
Karen, you're first. I'll take second.
Okay. Okay, voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Trustin,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Item 5 is a resolution confirming the reappointment of a Civil Service Commission member and the appointment of 2 new members to the Civil Service Commission for the City of Long Beach. Would you introduce and move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Trustin,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Item 6 is a resolution authorizing budget amendment to the capital fund budget. Won't you just move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Trustin,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Item 7 is a resolution authorizing budget amendments to the general and sewer fund budgets for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. Won't you just move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
I will. President Bender.
Okay.
Whatever.
Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Trustin,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Item 8 is a resolution authorizing transfer of funds for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. Won't you just move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
I will. Go ahead, Liz. Liz.
Voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Trustin,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Item 9 is also a resolution authorizing transfer of funds for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. Won't you just move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Trustin,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Item 10 is a resolution authorizing transfer of funds for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. Won't you just move the adoption of this item as amended?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Trustin,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Item 11 is a resolution authorizing transfer of funds for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. Who introduce and move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Treston,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
And item 12 is a resolution authorizing publication of a notice of public hearing of an application to waive off-street parking requirements for premise 1052 West Beach Street, street floor. Who introduce and move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second,
I will.
voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Treston,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Who will make a motion to close the meeting?
Prior to doing that, did we want to give Chief Walsh an opportunity to speak?
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
We did. He's been waiting patiently.
Hello, hello, Commissioner.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Good, thank you.
It's good. It's good to be here, and I just have a few words that I wanted to say to the council and anybody who's watching. First, I wanted to basically say that I wanted to thank the City Manager Gaden, the council, and all of the members and all of the panels who participated in the selection and the selection committee for their trust and confidence in me. I greatly appreciate that. I'm very excited to be here, and since being informed that I was the city's choice, I've attended several community meetings. I've also been spending time with the city administration as well as the police department itself, and I've been working together with Acting Commissioner Rich DePalmer and the entire department. Everyone's been absolutely terrific. There's a lot to learn about the city here. There are many operational practices that are very unique to the city that we're in the process right now of starting to evaluate to see if we can be more productive and efficient. That's already begun. Acting Commissioner DePalma has been doing a fantastic job, and he and I have been really working and formulating a lot of different policies and procedures to help the department and the city be more responsive to the public and also to save money at the same time. Additionally, we're also still working on the governor's executive order 203 for police reform, with the goal that that actual document will come to the city council sometime in February for the council to vote upon and then to seek public feedback. We've also begun the process of looking to update the department's website. The actual information on there is very outdated, but the platform it's on is outdated also. And several members of the department have been working with myself and Commissioner DePalmer to find the most cost-efficient way to actually bring that back into the 21st century, so that I have a vision that will actually be the place where members of the community can actually go and get the information that they're looking for about the police department, what activities we're involved in, what arrests we've made, things like that. So sort of a one-stop shop. It's going to take a little time to put that together too. But I have to say that since getting involved down here, the city and the department, it's been terrific. Everybody's been working very collaborative with me, and I really feel like I'm going to be able to hit the ground running. It's very exciting. I'm really looking forward to the future. So I just wanted to give that briefly. I wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you, the council members, and thank you for the confidence. And I look forward to getting started on when I get sworn in.
Great. And welcome aboard, and look forward to seeing some great stuff.
Thank you.
All right. Now we could move on, Dave.
Who will make a motion to close the meeting?
I will.
Second.
I will. Second.
Okay. Voting, Councilmember Delory.
You were muted.
You're muted, Mike.
He's still muted.
He's still muted.
He's doing that on purpose.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Mandel.
Yes.
Councilmember Treston.
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis.
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Okay. All right, folks. The way this works is use the raise your hand function if you wish to speak for good and welfare.
Okay. I think everybody knows the drill on this, but 3 minutes, and please keep it civil. So, who's up first, Dave?
Roy Lester.
Okay.
Go ahead, Roy.
Okay. Dave, I appreciate you putting the YouTube transcripts on the website, but to be honest, and I think you can look at them, they're virtually worthless. You can't really, they change every couple of seconds. You don't know who's speaking. There's no way to actually look at them and have a continuation of thought. A regular transcript, basically, you know, it does have timestamps, but it has timestamps, you know, whatever you request, but you can request it to change, to have a timestamp every time a new person speaks. And that way people can actually follow it through a transcript. What I did was I had that same thing transcribed by a company. They're in England. They're relatively cheap for that transcription. And a lot of the words are different, but it also, you can follow it because it's an entire paragraph, not just one line at a time. I don't know if anybody else has looked at these transcripts that you put up, but they're close to impossible to follow. Is there any reason we can't do that? I mean, they turned it over in one day. And relatively speaking, it was cheap. I mean, much cheaper than having somebody do it.
Roy, this is Donna.
Yeah.
We'll go back and we'll look into it.
I'm going to send you a copy too, Donna, and you'll see what an incredible difference it is. This is from the meeting of the 15th. Okay.
I appreciate it, Roy. Thank you.
You're welcome. And the other thing is, on the IT budget last week, or 2 weeks ago, how can you say you have 280,000 of IT maintenance contracts? How many computers do we have?
Now, Roy, I don't know that exact number right now.
Well, you know we have 175 email addresses.
Right, but that doesn't, every computer may not have an email address. I'll get that for you, Roy.
Okay, because it just, I didn't know we had that many contracts.
Yeah, we have quite a few contracts because they're for software and other things, but we'll get you a listing. As a matter of fact, we talked about that today to get an idea on the next budget, all of the contracts by name and amount.
Yeah.
So that is something that you will see in the near future, and that's for the public as well. Probably by April, there will be a transparency link on the website, and all contracts will be on the website.
And we can do the same with the phones, because I don't think we have voice over internet, which we should. It's a much cheaper way of going. But I understand you pay $140,000 for phones, which to me seems like a lot of money for phones. But if that could be included too, Donna. The only reason I'm saying that is I remember in the school district where we had a contract with Dell, and we had a separate contract for maintenance of the exact same computers, and nobody picked it up for years. And I picked it up, and I just couldn't believe that we had these double contracts. That's why when I found out we were spending $280,000 just on IT contracts, it just kind of, set my pen
I
up.
understand what you're saying, Roy, and I appreciate it. I mean, you do give us good ideas and things to look at. And so we are looking at all of the contracts right now. So, Roy, we will get back to you, and we've talked to you last week and this week. So, I will, or Ina will get back to you.
Oh, I know you will. Thanks so much.
That's your 3 minutes.
That's all I needed.
Thanks, Roy.
All right. Any more hands, Dave?
Yes. Next is, hold on one second, Kathleen O'Leary.
Okay. Hi, Kathleen.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
Hey, you got a picture this time. You didn't have one last time. We're not hearing you, Kathleen. I don't know if your phone is muted, perhaps.
Kathleen, check if you're muted, because we have you unmuted here.
Oh, not having any luck.
Okay.
Maybe try going out and coming back in, and we'll put her back on the top of the list when she
Okay. So we'll move
gets
on
back
to Joey Naham.
And Joey again. Welcome back.
Hi, good to be back. I also want to say hi to City Manager Donna Gaden. I forgot to say hi earlier. I wanted to ask quickly:
That's okay.
thanks. Is Commissioner Miranda on by any chance?
Is Commissioner Miranda what?
On the
Is
phone.
he on the yeah?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay. When I had spoken to him last at the meeting, he asked me to write him an email, and I had requesting the Army Corps engineers contact for the groin remediation project, and I was just following up because I didn't hear back. So I'll get him next time.
Okay.
Take
But
care.
also, we can discuss that tomorrow, so I can make sure you get an answer.
Oh, great. Thank you. Okay. Have a good night.
You
I'll
too.
talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Have a good night, Joey.
You too, John. Bye.
All right. Do we get Kathleen back?
Hold on. Let me try it again. Kathleen?
Okay,
She's muted.
she's muted right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been requesting she unmute, but she's not.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing, and I'm getting no response.
Kathleen, you have to unmute.
No response.
Okay. All right. Is there someone else, and we can come back to Kathleen?
Judy Vining.
Okay. Hi, Judy. Just unmute yourself, Judy.
Did it, I think.
Yep, there you go.
Okay. Really just a couple of things. Happy New Year, everybody. Want to welcome our new police commissioner, Commissioner Walsh. As you well know, LongBeachCOA has a long history of partnering with and paying police overtime. So we're looking forward to working with him as well. And I heard him say he's been attending some community meetings, so I'd like to extend an invitation to him to our next coalition meeting, which is on Zoom, of course, January 25th at 7 p.m. No pizza for now. And other than that, I just want to remind everybody that we still need to take a look at our social host ordinance. It really just requires a tweak, but we did not include marijuana in it. And the way the governor's proposal is going in terms of his budget, it's in there. Whether it'll pass or not, we don't know, but it certainly has always been a struggle every year. So I think we need to be in front of it instead of behind it. That's it.
Okay. We could put that to talk
It's
about
really
maybe at our next working meeting, so we could have a not limited to 3 minutes. We could have a longer discussion about it.
John, in all honesty, it's what it is a quick fix. I mean, it's just adding what we somehow, all of us, and when I say all of us, I mean when we changed the social host and up the fines, we had the police commissioner, we had myself, we had the corporation council, we had everybody who had an interest in it meeting, and we all missed it. We just didn't realize we didn't do it. So,
okay. Do you have that was before?
Oh, I'm sorry. Our meeting is January 27th. It's Wednesday.
Okay. All right. We'll talk offline then. We'll see. Maybe we don't need to then, if it's that simple a fix. We'll talk to Donna and see.
Okay.
What we need.
It really is.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I'm happy to come and talk anytime you want me to, but this is a quick fix.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. And I see Kathleen is still on. Any luck?
Nope, she will not unmute.
Okay.
Kathleen O'Leary, are you able to unmute?
Well, hope she's okay. All right. Is there anyone else?
Nope, that's all we have.
Okay. All All right. I mean, I guess. Oh, wait, she just unmuted.
Am I here? Am I on?
Yeah, there you are.
Ah, there we go. Finally. I forgot to plug the microphone in. So,
Oh, okay.
high-tech solution.
That'll do it.
Okay. I want to wish everyone a very happy and healthy new year. I wanted to speak about 2 parking items and 1 recycling item. First of all, I have been suggesting metered parking in the 3 business districts since 2011. So I'm very glad to see that this administration has finally addressed it and hopefully will install the meters. The other thing I wanted to say, which I thought was very good, I read in the paper that we stopped paying rent for 3 parking lots and saved $150,000. I thought that was a really smart way to save money. And, you know, it'll be what it is. People will have to go a little farther, I guess. The last thing I wanted to say about recycling was when recycling first started a long time ago, in my neighborhood, we had people coming onto your property and going through your garbage cans at night, and it was, you know, not right. So what I and some of my neighbors started doing, these are people looking for bottles to refund. So what we started doing was taking out the bottles, whether they be plastic or glass, and putting them in a separate bag, which are picked up by these people before recycling gets here. And, you know, since now we're paying a fortune for each ton of recycling, I think it would reduce that cost. And also with the economy the way it is, there are more and more of these people collecting the bottles to supplement their income. I see senior citizens doing it at night. I see mothers doing it at night. So it might be an indirect way to help people in addition to the food banks. That's my idea.
Good idea, because it saves us money too on the disposal costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donna, maybe we could discuss that with the sanitation folks, figuring out how maybe to do that.
Yes, I wrote it down. Thank you, Kathleen.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, well, have a good night. And that was it, Dave?
That's it.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us, everyone. Hopefully 2021 will go a little less chaotic than 2020 was. And everyone have a good night, and we'll see you at the next one. Take care.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Happy New Year.
Good night, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Right.